All right. All right, so we're live. Let me just get all these. Let me share all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And then we'll go ahead and break it down again. Let me get this there. Let me bring this up. All right, now that that's posted, let's see, we're good there. Let's see, we're good there. All right, let me just upload this to Patreon. I wanted to get that done first and foremost today. Then we'll start talking about the race here. It's looking like a Kyle Busch type of day, which I think everybody kind of knows that already. And in the first run of my projections, I gave Kyle Busch 95 laps led and 110 fast laps. And I don't think that's out of question. It's just that after that, it really hurts everybody else's upside after that point. Just because, like, once Kyle gets over 100 points, like, it doesn't matter how many he leads. It just matters. Well, it doesn't matter for him, but it matters for everybody else if everybody else can get fast laps or laps led. So give me a few minutes to get this uploaded to Patreon because we're about done here. I got the optimizer running in the background already today, so as soon as I get this uploaded, I should be able to tell where it's going to go. I know I'm going to get asked questions about Jade Ford. They're based out of Nashville, Big Machine Records. This is like their home turf, home track, and so I imagine that's why they're so quick. They're bringing the best kart they have. It's difficult. I mean, that's going to be the questions. I can already tell it's probably going to be between Buford, and Tommy Joe Martins. Who else is in the punt range? Because I don't think Little's going to work. I don't think Nelly Decker's going to work. And so we're going to be surrounded by a few, or we're going to be surrounded by the same punt plays in the back. Right now, I'm thinking that this is a, play a lot of guys in the 7K range. I think that's how I'm going to go about it. Like, I like Brett Moffitt. I like, what's his name? Ryan Sieg. I like Ryan Sieg. I don't mind him. Let's see. Yeah, I don't hate the 7K range this week. I really do not. Even Jeremy Clements, that's not an ugly play there. Let me get that almost done here. How about that chalk fest yesterday, man? We got that was a pretty wild race. Yeah, Vargas is also interesting there. I'm not playing LeBay. I mean, just looking at how slow he's been this year, I'm not playing LeBay starting as far back as he is. Not because he hit the wall, just because he's been so slow this year. I really haven't had much interest in LeBay. Let me see. Right there. Oh, and Weatherman. Weatherman's the other guy that I'd be looking at here. Okay, let me get that done, and then that's done, and that's done. Okay, let me get this good old uploaded. And okay, that's good there. And there's that. Take See, let me delete that. Got to check to see if Prize Picks has their stuff up yet, because that's the last thing I need to upload there. Maybe LeBay's chalk. I'll categorize him as chalk there. I don't think there's gonna be much chalk in the in the ranges really outside of value plays. Get that there. Get that there. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay. Let's see, that's almost done, that's done, that's done, that's done. We'll put those guys there, and Rick. Where you at? Where you at, Sieg? I lost you. Oh, there we go. Alright, that's good. Okay, we can upload this now. Let me get that, then I'll take a gander at the optimizer and see what that's saying, or at least get an idea of where it's wanting to go. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna run a small player pool today. I'm not real interested in the I'm not real interested in making a whole lot of lineups for this race. Same thing with yesterday, but I don't have the bankroll to make the amount of lineups that I want to cover everything. So I just figured I'll probably do 1 to 3 lineups today, hitting the guys that I want to. Just put that. Busch week. Hey, what's going on, JB? Thank you guys for tuning in. We're almost done here, and then I'll bring up the page and everything. Okay, let me get that. All right. Let me just fill that out. Let me just fill this out, and we'll be all good to go. Check here. When did they? I'm pretty sure DraftKings, or not DraftKings, Prize Picks, put up Truck Series stuff yesterday, but I didn't see it. Like, they had to put it up like near the start of the race, because like I was looking yesterday and I did not see anything. And Let's see, what are we doing here? What's this one to go with? Okay, got that updated, I got that updated, I got that updated, I got that. Okay, cool. We're uploading this to Patreon now. Let's see. Okay. All right, so this is on Patreon. Let's see. Yeah, okay, cool, Luke. Because I felt bad because I have that in my on my Patreon that I'll look at Prize Picks and give the best thing that I think, and I was like, am I missing something? Like I didn't see it during the live show, so I guess they just didn't give a shit about the Truck Series yesterday. All right, this is up on Patreon now. Make sure it's the right one, and then we'll go up on the screen and mess around with stuff. Yes, we'll do that. All right. Let me get this here, and we'll be all good to go. I can get this computer to go faster so I can bring this up. Let's see, so that's there. That's there. Just make sure again. Yeah, driver projections, everything good there, everything good there. Okay, cool. All right, we're good there. All right, sorry about the wait, but I gotta get the Patreon guys covered. Make sure I'm giving them everything I have. So let me move this. Let me get this working there, and I'll bring up the summary. All right, cool. Let me bring this up now. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of talk through these drivers here in terms of where I like them to be. Gonna be a lot of F's here just because I got a lot of guys in the 4 values just because I think Kyle Busch leads so many laps and gets so many fast laps that it really takes away from a lot of these guys who normally can like scrape laps led, or not laps led, but fast laps even if they're not leading. I think Kyle Busch being in charge of this race really hurts that for a lot of these people. So I want to put that. Where can I put this? I'm going to put F by him, and then I'm going to... So I have Ford projected for 17 points, and I think this is where... This is kind of what I want to talk about here, because this is where the interesting discussions are going to be between the value plays. Let's see, Allgaier. Allgaier's D. Will Rogers, and that's no. Let Reddick's know based on the pricing. I don't think you can get to him there. Yeah, it's wild that there's so many guys in the just so many guys projected for like 4.9 value just by not really even doing much. We're gonna put him as a B. I got him for 30. Hold on, I missed. Oops, there we go. So there's that. Josh Williams. There, and who do we got left? So I got Weatherman for 23, but that can easily go up depending on how that car performs. Probably no Curry for me. JJ is a C. All these guys are Fs. So if you're going Kyle Busch, I assume you're going to take one value play at the very bottom, unless you want to play a lot of that 9 and 8K guys. And also, this is a race where I don't think we're going to see a lot of place differential being taken, other than like Josh Berry, Clements, Annette, Herbst, Moffitt, Reddick, Austin Hill, Brandon Brown. Those are your place differential guys. Like everybody from 23rd to 15th are your place differential guys. And so outside of that, I'm not interested in really chasing place differential from them. If I can get guys that I think are going to maintain either top 13 or top 15 positions, because we saw yesterday that pretty much nobody was able to pass in the Truck Series race yesterday, and I think this race is going to play out very similar to that, to where there's just not a ton of people making passes and everything. And so if I happen to run in a situation to where my entire lineup is composed of guys starting inside the top 15 or inside the top 19 or something like that, like I'm perfectly fine in that. Let's see. Well, the screen isn't blurred. I know that's on you, because we're doing pretty good on the stream. Stream quality is still at 720. Yeah, I mean, if you're certainly playing 20 lines, I don't think you need to be over 65% on Kyle Busch, because the lines that you're making that don't have him in there are projected for like catastrophic engine failures. Like it's hard for me to see in a situation where Kyle Busch fails but still runs in the race the entire time. Like I think the only way Kyle Busch doesn't work today is if he blows a motor, or obviously gets to a wreck. So I mean, maybe you want to go higher, but whenever I'm making a ton of lineups and I'm attacking like a situation where it doesn't happen, I tend to try and have more ownership to quote unquote bad lines. So I would make more non-Kyle Busch lineups just to try and get different. That's why I'd keep it at 60. But that's just kind of how I'm at. How's it going, do you think? Yeah, so look, Kyle Busch is the play. I kind of said when I was going over things, my initial run, I gave Kyle Busch 95 laps, led in 110 fast laps. I kind of changed it from that, but it's roughly the same. And it really, at any point, like anytime Kyle Busch gets over 100 points, it really doesn't matter for him how many fast laps or laps led he gets. The only people it matters for is the guys who are normally able to get fast laps while they're not leading. So like Daniel Hemrick, for example, we've seen Hemrick, obviously he's been fast this year, getting fast laps even when he's not leading, and then getting out in front of the field and getting fast laps as well. But Hemrick usually can gather fast laps even when he's not leading. I think with Kyle Busch being the leader, I think that hurts people like Harrison Burton, people like Daniel Hemrick, people like Justin Allgaier in terms of getting those fast laps while being in the pack. Because, usually we have, your leader, and then you have guys who can scrape off those fast laps. Just like yesterday, how we saw, despite the fact that Derek Kraus led the first 45 laps or however, I think he only had 10 fast laps in that first stage. Whereas you saw Todd Gilliland, you saw John Hunter Nemechek, you saw Tanner Gray, you saw other guys in the field who weren't leading, getting those fast laps. So I think that's something we need to pay attention to, because a lot of the things that make, and I like Daniel Hemrick. I don't know if I'm going to get to him because I'm not interested in playing a lot of lines today. But I think I really want to say Kyle Busch legit dominates this race. Like, I want to project him higher. It just doesn't matter for his projection. But if Kyle Busch leads 130 laps in this race and gets a fast lap for every one of those because he's that stronger than the field, then your place differential plays, they only need like 1 or 2 or 3 places to go forward. We don't need a place differential play to get a home run, to get a grand slam and go from 35th to 17th or something like that. We just need, somebody like Ryan Sieg to go from 13th to 10th. We just need somebody like Austin Hill to go from 15th to 13th. We just need somebody like Brett Moffitt to go from 18th to 14th. We don't need these gigantic place differential plays. For your value plays, Jake Buford is starting as the quote-unquote optimal value play just because of his starting position. Now, if he loses any spots, which right now, I'm giving him 17 place different, or I'm giving him 17 projected points because I think he kind of falls back through the field, then it goes to Tommy Joe Martins, which we kind of expected that to happen. Tommy Joe Martins, all he has to do is either hold on to this position or get up to 16th or 15th, somewhere around there. I think that's where he finishes. Now, if he wrecks, obviously it doesn't work out. If Tommy Joe Martins isn't able to get to 15th or he isn't able to hold on his position, I think it falls to Kyle Weatherman. Now, I play Kyle Weatherman in and out of most weeks. It just depends on what the car does. So right now I'm giving Kyle Weatherman 23 points, but that's not giving him like his full, let's see, what am I got him projected for right now? I think I'm giving Kyle Weatherman around a 23rd place finish. If he gets in the 20s, which we've seen before, and certainly I think this track is going to be easier on equipment for him versus other places. If he gets into the 20th or into 20, into 19, into 18, then Kyle Weatherman's going to fit into the optimal lineup to where he's going to be the value play. And so, gun to your head, how often do you think Jade Buford holds on to his position? How often do you think Tommy Joe Martins hold on to his position or gains 2 positions? How often do you think Kyle Weatherman gains from 27th? And so those are the questions that I would ask myself when I'm looking at value plays. Same thing can be said with Ryan Vargas. I think this is the price that Ryan Vargas needs to be at. Same thing with Tommy Joe Martin. Same thing with Kyle Weatherman. He's just cheaper. He doesn't need to do as much. But if he can hold on to 28th or get a 24th place finish, get a 25th place finish, that's all we need. We don't need these gigantic place differential swings in this race, and I don't think we're going to see that. But in the lineups like that, that's how I think it goes. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, unless NASCAR decides to kneecap Kyle Busch and purposely, throws the book at him or something like that. People already asked me earlier, kind of when I was going through stuff. I'm not on Alex Labbe. Not because he hit the wall in qualifying. I just don't see much from Alex Labbe because we've seen him, and I mean, he's $5,400. Maybe it works then, but if you look at how he's been running this year, maybe I'll either talk myself into him or out of him during this conversation here. So check out his finishing positions here. 18th at Texas, 11th at Montreal, 14th at Charlotte, 20th at Coda, 19th at Dover, 10th at Darlington, 31st at Martinsville, and 17th at Atlanta. I think that's the farthest we need to go. I think that is very head-to-head with Kyle Weatherman, with what Kyle Weatherman can do. And I know Weatherman hasn't been that consistent. Like if we look at Weatherman's finishes, 37, 26, 22nd, 33rd, 23rd, 25th, 28th. But he's cheaper than Weatherman. I haven't messed around with a ton of lineups, but I'm going to assume right now that if you're wanting to still pay up for guys in the 8K or in the 9K range, it's going to be difficult to make a lineup that you like with Alex Labbe, and it's going to lead you down a very similar path to other people just because, so you're using Kyle Busch and Alex Labbe and then, whoever you're paying up for. I think that seems like the path that a lot of people are going to go with. And so I actually think Alex Labbe is probably going to be pretty chalky today. And personally, I probably won't play Alex LeBay. Like I said, I might play. I'm looking at 3 lineups right now, maybe 1 or 2. I'm not real crazy about these slates this week. Last night really got screwed over with all the chalk in the back, and this week I'm not too excited. I'm not too excited for this one, but that's where we're at right now. Let's see, what does this wanted to do? So right now, this is liking Ryan Sieg and Ryan Vargas. Kind of what I expected. I assume it's going to want to go to a lot of 7K guys. Let's see. Who is it? I guess the better thing to answer is who is it not using? It's not one to use Cindric. It's not one to use Age Alminair. It's not one to use Allgaier. It's not one to use Barry. It's not one to use... And that's interesting because the Barry situation, Barry seems like he might be chalky due to the fact that he has probably the most place differential to gain out of anybody in this field. Say he drives up to 7th or 8th, but that pricing, if you play him and Kyle Busch together, then you're really in the ugly range with Ryan Vargas. And I don't know how. Let me look at that. I don't like how that build feels, but I gotta look at. Let me see this. So what would that be? That would be Kyle Busch. That'd be Josh Berry. Between those guys, you got 66 left. Let's say you do go Vargas on that. Yeah, that's 7,300 on average for your last 3 guys. 22,000 in total. I don't like that build. I don't like that build that Barry gives you, and that might be another situation to where Barry might draw ownership because there's so little place differential here that maybe people go to Josh Berry for that place differential, where I would just rather take Jeremy Clements for cheaper. I would just rather take Riley Herbst for cheaper, Brett Moffitt and these guys. And so, let's see, that's where I'm at there. Yeah, and I mean, maybe that's the play, because it seems like to me it's Kyle Busch, Josh Berry, Alex LeBay. That kind of seems like where everybody's going to want to go. And let me compare lineup. Let me get another tab running on the side, and I want to compare if I force Josh Berry in the lineups versus if I take him out and force other guys in this lineup. Let's see. So right now, this is wanting to use. If you use Josh Berry, it looks like you're going to be either with Alex LeBay or going all the way to Ryan Vargas to try and get a good lineup, or Tommy Joe Martins. Or you're going to go Kyle Busch, Tommy Joe Martins, Alex LeBay, and Josh Berry, to where you kind of double pump. But that kind of that limits your ceiling a lot, because you need all your points to come from Kyle Busch, which everybody's going to have. So it's not like you're getting an advantage there. Sure, you get an advantage from maybe other lineups by playing the place differential from Josh Berry, but then you're having to get Tommy Joe Martins to get you like 31, 32, 33 points. And then same thing with Alex LeBay. And you would need him to get you like 29 points, 30 points, 31 points again. So you got 2 guys basically getting you 30 points in those types of builds with Josh Berry. And I like that. I don't think David Starr is chalk. Like I said, I would much rather play, and I hate Vargas. I think he's the worst driver in NASCAR. I would love to just have a race where it's Ryan Vargas and Joe Graf Jr. on the track by themselves. Like I would really like to see how that goes, because those guys are the 2 worst drivers in any of the series in NASCAR. I bet you Ray Cicerelli could drive better in either one of those machines. Let me see. It's like in Brett Moffitt. Last 2 weeks I've played Moffitt, not necessarily trying to play him. He just ends up being in lineups for me. Like Herbst, Herbst struggles a lot. He needs more time. I think Herbst will become a good driver. He just it's like Texas all over again. Anytime it's like Texas and Charlotte. I guess we could throw Nashville in there because we'll be going to races uh, for the next 2 years for Nashville before we go to the fairgrounds. And so races that are one groove and small, like small racing tracks, like kind of to where, like, I know Texas is wide, but you hit that PJ when you're dead. So like Texas, Charlotte, and I guess now Nashville is drivers to where if you see drivers who make problems, if you see drivers who tend to get in wrecks or make dumb moves, it just seems to be amplified at these one groove racetracks. Like last night, Derek Kraus. Derek Kraus is always a guy who takes risks when he shouldn't be taking them. He always clears himself when he's not clear, and he got wrecked last night. Uh, just because that's the type of track it is. It amplifies those mistakes that these drivers make. And Herp seems like this will be a track that he's going to struggle at, or make a mistake, or get sideways, or wreck. Same thing with Barry. I think that's another reason why I'm concerned with Barry, is because this seems like a track where Josh Berry's going to wreck at. Not only due to the fact that it's small and it amplifies that type of stuff, but this is his last race in this. You know, I imagine he's going to be either real close to part-time or real close to full-time next year in this series, or nearly full-time part-time, if that makes sense. And so I think Barry's perfectly fine in terms of next year's, but this is his last race and probably a good car. I think he's going to try and get everything out of it as he can. If he starts getting aggressive, which he said before, you know, and we've seen him move people out of the way, this seems like a race to where, you know, if you move somebody out of the way, you're going to wreck the field. Cash, man, yeah, this JJ Yaley play. So I got JJ Yaley projected for. I'm giving JJ Yaley 30 DraftKings points. That's a 4.4 value for a discount. If I got Weatherman for 23, you know, and JJ for 30, and that's not even giving me Weatherman's ceiling. That's just saying, God, I hope the car makes it. I would much rather go Weatherman. I'm not gonna play JJ Yaley. I'm not going to play JJ Yaley. I think he finishes closer around 20th than he does 15th. If he finishes 15th, then he's the play in that range. I don't think he is. I don't think he gets up there. I think I'd rather play Jeremy Clements versus JJ Yaley. And JJ's racing for points. That's the only reason he's in this car for SS Greenlight Racing. That's the reason they put JJ in this car versus Joe Graff. That's why they switched and put Graff in 17, because this car that JJ's in, it needs owner points, and it wouldn't have qualified in if Joe Graff was driving it, because they need to qualify on time. That's why JJ Yaley's here. If anything, JJ is points racing. Kind of a bad track to do it at, but JJ is here to bring the car home, not necessarily knock the doors off the field. If that makes sense. Man, that 5 car, that Valvoline, that's a hot looking car, man. That is sexy. That's one of the best paint schemes I've seen in a long time. I really like that 5 car. Is it the so the reason that I'm giving Rogers an F, just based on my projections here. So I have Rogers projected for 19 points. That's him losing 5 positions, finishing around 19th, 18th. So, like, I mean, Rogers can finish, 18th, 19th, 20th, around there, but I still think he gets outscored by people in the same price range. So it's not like, oh, Will Rogers is an unknown, he's an ARCA guy, rogue, whatever. It just, I have him projected for 19 points. So that's more so where the Rogers goes. Let me see here. Let me see. I gotta answer a thing in. Wait. Hold on. There's one. Sorry, I had to answer a question in Discord. For chat, I'm not getting that bottle. I ain't following. I do not follow that crap. I shared it because hey, there's no content. Get little kids to follow that. Get your sons, get your daughters to follow them and share them and they want to take shots. If you look at me, I am not. I follow damn close to 1,000 people on Twitter, but I am not following any of those 3 that you're supposed to follow for that bottle. Okay, I don't drink some piss rum, man, or some piss bourbon. I ain't doing none of that. Okay. If anything, man, I like Maker's Mark. I like Jack. You know, I like that stuff more. I like moonshine. I drink a lot of moonshine. That's just me. Like that's not like drinking hand sanitizer, like most people think it is. I like moonshine, and so like I'm not too big into that stuff. Oh man, it's the JJ Yaley questions over again. I'm not gonna answer that. I kind of already did. He's a C. I would much rather aim for the 7. And I mean, if you're aiming for the 6K range, I think if you're playing cash, play JJ Yaley. I don't think you really need to get different from that. But other than that, I don't really see the reason there. Yeah, LeBay, I'm not high on. I don't believe in this car. Not because he hit the wall in qualifying, just because I don't think they're going to be fast at all. Same thing with Josh Williams. I don't see much from there. From those guys, and I think LeBay is going to be extremely chalky because yesterday, kind of the same thing to where obviously it was those 3 guys in the back who were chalk, and then everybody else kind of looked at, well, where else can place differential come from? And then they were like, or well, where else can we get a good value from? And everybody went to Austin Wayne Self, and I played Chris Wright yesterday. The move was to play Tate Fogelman, but everybody moved to Austin Wayne Self. I think that type of mentality, especially because a lot of people complain that they don't like this type of DFS NASCAR to where, oh man, they qualify on the same. Like, I prefer this. Now I don't have to sit here for a day and a half analyzing lineups. I just put projections in and I let the optimizer tell me more than me. I don't talk myself out of stuff. And so thinking that everybody's going to try and go for safe place differential plays, they'll go to Alex LeBay. They'll go to JJ Yaley. Whereas my projections have LeBay, Weatherman, Tommy Joe Martins, like all these guys are very close together. At that point, I'll just chase ownership and hopefully I get something to go right there. You know, especially, and we're all playing Kyle Busch. I mean, that's just how it is. I'm not going to put money on him having a mechanical failure. We'll just, if he does, he does. But Kyle is just blowing the field. He's just blowing the field away. He should lead every lap. Like, I would not be shocked if he did that. In fact, I would like that more. I would love it if he could just go out there, get every fast lap, every lap led, and then kill off anybody inside the top 10, or kill off anything but very small place differential plays. I think that'd be really fun to do. All right, let me look through this. We check Twitter real fast. Sometimes get messages on there. Let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Fast Cars, Fast Money. I didn't know if he. That's very cool. I gotta tell him thank you. But yeah, I think that's how it goes. So let's kind of goof around with building lineups together and try and predict where everybody's gonna go. So we're gonna do Kyle Busch. And obviously this isn't like, oh, the most chalkiest lineup, but we're trying to get an idea, and this is what I kind of do for pretty much anything, NBA, NFL, whatever, but specifically certainly in NASCAR. So if we're going Kyle Busch, let's do LeBay at 5,400. So you got Alex LeBay. And then I would assume that, like, personally, I really think Tommy Joe Martins is the play here. I don't know how chalky he's going to be. I feel like he should be chalky, but people might just pay the $400 more to go JJ Yaley. So we're going to assume Yaley has the ownership there. And then that's $7,800 left. If you go with Barry there, that leaves you 72. I guess for this example, we'll use Josh Berry. So here, that leaves you 14. No, there you go. What? Oh, it's all the way at the edge. Hold on. Here, I'll do it on this one. So that leaves you... Okay, so that leaves you 14,400 for your last two guys, 7,200 on average for the rest. I think this is the way that most people are going to want to build. Really do. And so I just happen to have other guys projected higher than these. So it's not necessarily, oh, I think this is the chalk. I'm fading the chalk because I always fade the chalk. I think there's there's like 3 or 4 points difference between JJ Yaley and like Kyle Weatherman and Alex LeBay and Tommy Joe Martins and guys like that. And so I would try and get away from this build. If you're in cash, I would imagine this is probably the cash play. But in GPPs, I would try and get different from this. That's what I would assume was going to happen. I like Sieg. No, I would go Ryan Sieg over Riley Herbst. But anytime it never fails. I almost never play Sieg as he starts high up. Anytime I play Sieg, he always stays out on tires. He always stays out on tires. And I'm like, oh my God, Sieg. Not even when he wrecks, just anytime he does dumbass tire games, it's always when I play him. And so it either works incredibly great or he falls through the field. Anyone else you could see rank? If I take Busch out, because I think Busch is the only A I have. If I take Busch out, then it would probably be Sieg, it'd probably be Hill, Moffitt, Tommy Joe Martins. I think those would be the guys that would move to an A. I like Martins. For me, it seems like Martins is the play here. But I haven't seen much. Let's see. We only got an hour and 10 minutes before lock, so it's hard for me to really get an idea of what people think. But it seemed like people are going to want to go LeBay and Yaley. So maybe I play Tommy Joe Martins, man. I don't know. Yeah, David Starr is expensive though. David Starr is expensive. What do I have? What do I have David Starr projected for? I'm giving David Starr 17 points. I could bump that to 20. I could bump it to 22, but that's not very attractive for 5,300. That is not very attractive at all. At that point, head to head, I think Alex LeBay outscores David Starr today. So I mean, if you're making that argument, I think Alex LeBay is the better play over David Starr. Sieg, Net, Barry Martins. That'll be a good question. Let's look at that. Let me look. We got Sieg and Net. Where you at? I keep losing Sieg in this. Where is he starting at? 13th. Okay, so let's see. Sieg. What else am I checking for? Sieg and Net. Or Barry Martins. I would do the first group between those based on my projections. What do you have? Well, I can't just give everything out, you know. I mean, I do have Patreon. I gotta support those guys that support me on this channel. If you at least kind of watch me enough, you know that A's are the plays that are I just have highest projected for. When you get to the B's and C's, B's is anything that gets you near or over 5x. C's are like 4.8s to like 4.4s, 4.5s, and so hopefully that kind of helps you out here. I think Brandon Brown is a play that you need to consider. I don't know if I'll get to him. I like Moffitt more. I'd probably rank those three: Moffitt, Sieg, Herbst. If I had to do it in terms of realistic speed, it's probably Herbst, Moffitt, and then Sieg. But I don't think I'm gonna play Herbst today. Yeah, it'd be awesome, man. I hope LeBay's chalk, and I hope he DNFs. That'd be awesome, man. I don't know what happened to him and Williams. They just fell off a cliff about a month ago, and they've never really recovered. I mean, when we started this year, it was like, oh yeah, Alex LeBay's going to be like a 13th place contender all week or all year. Josh Williams, man, he's moving to like finishing 14th each week, and then it just goes. I mean, come on, bro. You, man, I'm not trying to be rude. I got a Patreon there. If you click the link, and I'm not talking, okay, let me, because I try not to be condescending. Some people like this, some people don't. If you click the link to Patreon, you can see the tiers, and you can see what you get on each one. That's kind of how it is. They're like, man, Brandon, you're an asshole. You're not trying to make a sale. No, I don't like stupid questions. Everybody knows that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Alex LeBay. Let's see, see, man, Charlotte Chandler. I assume you're new, but everybody kind of knows. Everybody's like, oh man, he's gonna start ranting. It's Brandon. He's throwing a fit. Just join your. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate it. I mean, come on, guys. It'd be different if you were like 14 and I'm in like school. I'm a teacher. I'm showing you how to do stuff. I'm teaching you about history because I like doing that type of stuff. I like explaining people. I like stupid questions from kids because they don't know any better. They can read. I assume if you're watching this, you're over the age of like 18 and you have a brain. But that's kind of where we're at here. And I don't offer a sheet or anything. Everybody already knows that I use Race for the Prize and stuff like that. I support Pierce. Right now he's at True DFS. I'm sure he's coming back to Race for the Prize next month, or his own site next month. And so I mean that's what I use. So I don't offer a sheet or anything. I just give you my projections because people are curious about that type of stuff. Is the pay any different? Man, I wish I had OnlyFans. I could probably make more on that than Patreon. I could probably make some really good OnlyFans content. That'd be good. Maybe I can do that. Maybe when I retire this year, I can go to OnlyFans and do that. Or I can just go to Twitch. I could join the hot tub meta. That'd be cool. I'll just do a hot tub here. Let's see. Thank you, Dave. I do appreciate that. So let's see. What is this? What does this optimizer want to do now? So, as I said, it's not wanting to use Barry. It's not wanting to use LeBay. It's not wanting to use JJ. Like, it is, but, like, my highest projected lineups don't have them in that. It's actually... I don't like that either. It's wanting to use Jesse Little more than JJ Ailey, but those guys are in two drastically different price ranges, so I assume that it's having to use... a 5K or below as its last guy in some lineups. And I think that's why Kyle Weatherman is so high. So like right now it's saying Kyle Weatherman or Tommy Joe Martins. That's where it's at for your value guys, your lowest dude there. Yoga pants stream. Man, you guys don't want that, man. You guys do not want that. I'm going to make you guys all look bad. And then you're going to be like, oh man. Oh man, and I got 84 people watching. We're talking about yoga pants now. I appreciate that. You can join the Patreon. You can just follow the link. You got to create a Patreon account, but it's basically now. See, that's how you ask. That's how you ask versus what do you get when you sign up? How do you ask? Be like, hey, I'll tell you how to ask. I'll tell you, I'll be nicer to you. But yeah, like Patreon, you don't even have to use it for me. Like you can use it for different creators. Like a lot of people use it for supporting their podcasts. Supporting endeavors. or basically OnlyFans, but for like non-pornography and things like that. Sometimes you get merch from people. Sometimes you just get their support. Like with me, you get my projections. That's how I give everything out through there, just because it's easier than taking PayPal money. Each and everything. Let's see. I mean, there's actually a link in the description of this video. If you just look at the description, it's the first link in there. But yeah, it's also on my Twitter. I also have a PayPal in there. So if you also don't want to pay the Patreon and be like, wow, I like this guy's rants. He entertained me for 30 seconds today. He helped me escape my depressed life for 2 minutes. I'll give him $1 on PayPal or something like that. So you can support me through PayPal as well. If you just want to support the, well, I ain't taking your, I ain't the federal government, man. I ain't taking your social security number. Don't worry. I just want your money. I don't want the social security. Let's see here. Let's see. That's also another reason why I'm not at big site. One, I don't like writing articles, but I can't imagine being at a big site and dealing with a ton of stupid questions. That would drive me crazy. Like, I'm not the smartest guy out there, but man, like, I absolutely hate dumb questions. Absolutely hate. It's different if you aren't familiar with DFS, but if you're playing it and then asking really dumb questions, there's very few things that gets on my nerves quicker than that. Yeah, Kay, just have fun with it, man. You have to have fun in it. If you're not having fun, the content suffers. People can see it, and just I assume you mean for NASCAR or any sport really. Just consistently, if you keep doing, watch Sal Vetri. If you guys watch Sal, which I got a lot of respect for Sal Vetri. I really love his content. I like what he's done. He actually has videos. I think they're business vlogs. He doesn't do them a lot now, but he was doing them a lot during COVID, and he kind of breaks down like how he does a lot of his stuff, and he has a lot of good advice. Like I would go to Sal Vetri's YouTube to check any of that stuff out. No, man, I don't wear a shower cap. See, I love this. We got 76 guys here. We're not even caring about DFS anymore. No, man, I got luscious hair. I'm probably going bald, but I got luscious hair. I don't wear a shower cap. I just use shampoo and conditioner. And you're damn right. I use female shampoo and conditioner because all that men stuff out there is horrible. I would put a lot in practice. I would put a lot of stock into practice. And so if you're going head to head between guys, first off, look at how many laps they ran. Don't necessarily go off their fastest time. Look at the runs that they did. So especially if you have like a 5 lap, if you have 5 laps to compare between each driver, and you can either, if you rewatch practice or if you have some practice data, you can see at what time in that practice session they ran those laps. That's where I would compare head to head, and then kind of use qualifying to an extent. Like if you're looking at the fastest lap in practice, compare that to their fastest lap in Q, because they're most likely both Q trims. If you're looking at race trim, try and find the longest run that each guy did, and then compare those between each other. Let's see here. Oh no, like no. I mean that's a fun question. No, that's not a dumb question, Jax. I would much rather answer that than, oh man, what do you have Brandon Brown projected for? That's kind of where we're at. Yeah, Sal Vetri has a lot of he has a lot of good content. I really like Sal Vetri. Yeah. He's probably, outside of the NASCAR scene, he's probably my favorite guy to listen to. I'll listen to him, if I'm taking walks or whatever. Like if I'm outside walking dog or stuff. I like a lot of his content too. Should I care about? You'll be really deep in the weeds. I assume if you're looking into pit data, then you know what you're looking for and you know what you're trying to find. Surface level, I wouldn't care about pit data a lot. And you also have to ask yourself, like, what are you trying to find in that? So, like, if I think Kyle Busch is going to lead a good portion of the race and enter pit road first, like, usually pit data can help us figure out who's going to leave pit road first, whereas Kyle Busch should be able to keep leaving pit road with the lead. unless he has an issue on pit road. So usually I look at pit data more in races where I think there's going to be more passing, either on pit lane or where pit strategy is going to come into play more. So I wouldn't look into a ton of pit data for this race, but that's kind of where we're at here. So Reddick, I got, and typically I give out more projections for guys that I don't like. If you guys have ever watched me enough and noticed, so like right now I'm giving Reddick 44 points. That's what I got Tyler Reddick projected for, giving him, you know, like an 8th, 9th, 10th place finish. That'll go up or down, depending. But I think he finishes around 9th, 8th, 10th, just because I think passing is going to be so difficult here. So maybe he'll be there towards the end of the race. But if that's the case, then I still see, you know, people like Moffitt gaining a couple positions as well. Austin Hill, Ryan C gaining like 1 or 2. And so I don't like the idea of paying up for Tyler Reddick or for Josh Berry. And if I'm going to pay up for somebody, I would much rather pay up for Josh Berry versus Tyler Reddick. No, you're good. Nobody asked about Tyler Reddick. Or like, here's another random mine. So I purposely made sure that in my Patreon tier, I specifically say, hey, I'll get the projections are guaranteed, and I always do it the night before, so I haven't even got to the morning. But projections are guaranteed the morning before the race if we know the qualifying order like in advance, and normally I still get that done the day before, and then I have it to where if qualifying happens like it did today, to where it's qualified, I get them done as soon as I can, right after qualifying. And so I always make sure that's the first thing done, or they're pretty much done right when I start the stream. And so I've had a couple guys be like, where's the projections at? And be like, qualifying isn't even done yet. Can't make projections with no qualifying. Let's see. All right, so we'll do last call for any last questions. So we've been online for about an hour now. I'll give you guys around 50 minutes to make your lineups or at least analyze stuff on your own. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. 71 guys. Like I really do appreciate that. I remember when I first started, it was amazing to get like 30 views on the first videos. And that's the other thing, Kay. There's a lot of guys, if you're still here, there's a lot of guys who start doing DFS content, and a lot of them leave. A lot of them leave really quickly. Either they don't get the views that they want right off the bat, or they realize that, hey, this is more work than a lot of people expect. And so, I mean, it's not for everybody. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Any questions on here? Let me go through there. I'm also, this is interesting. I haven't talked about Prize Picks a whole lot, but it's wild that that Prize Picks has Kyle Busch at 39.75, and I still think he gets there. I still think he gets over 40 on Prize Picks today. I've just never seen anybody that high on Prize Picks left. If I was to make a non-Kyle Busch lineup, I would probably play Daniel Hemrick. I would look into practice data more for Hemrick and Burton. Maybe even Cindric. I would look at see who's fastest between these guys, because Kyle Busch does have an issue, or he's just not fast. We saw that the Toyotas yesterday were pretty much the top of the field yesterday. And so if I wasn't aiming for Kyle Busch, I would imagine another Toyota driver or another one of his Joe Gibbs teammates would take over in that. And so I'd probably lean Daniel Hemrick again. So without Kyle Busch, maybe Hemrick, Cindric, and then Burton. That's how it would go. Let's see. Well, let's see. Since you just gave that lineup out to the entire world, I guess we'll just project it here for you. So we got Kyle. So we got Kyle at... actually... Yeah, I'll give it one... I want to put all the projections on there. Oh, man, you delete it. You can't delete it now. I can go back and I can still see that. But yeah, you did. I mean, I was gonna project it out for you because I'm pretty sure you had Little in that. I know it was Kyle, Little, Annette, somebody else in there. Um, it's like that. That's another thing I've never understood, and I'm not. I am not ragging on you, Chandler. This is just an example because normally I don't have examples here to do that. But like maybe if you're playing like a double up or $1 double up, but if you're in the $10, um, why would you put your lineup out there, either on Twitter, on YouTube, or anything like that? Like not only like say if you legit do play that line, I mean you can change it or whatever. But say if that's the lineup you're going to your grave with and you're playing with, well, one, I've seen that. Some other people in here have already seen that as well. I can project what that lineup is based on my projections and know if I'm going to outscore you or if you're outscoring me, and I need to change lineups to try and beat that. And other people may play it. So I've never ever understood that unless you're playing like low stakes stuff or if you're new asking opinions on lineups. But that's just kind of how it is. No net love to me. I think I'm only going to play one line today. Yeah, no net love. I'd much rather play Moffitt or Herbst or even Austin Hill or Brandon Brown over him. Oh, here we go. It's done. Yeah, so. Like if you're playing double ups, I would play JJ Yaley. I would play probably Josh Berry, which is why I mean the double ups have gotten really I guess toxic is the wrong word, but everybody kind of plays the same lineups, and so say you're in 100-man double up. Usually, the chalky play or the chalky lineup, like 15, 20 people have it, and you either have to beat that group or like be close enough to. I don't like double up. I, I that's your opinion on Sal. I don't talk shit to anybody else, man. Like I'll I don't. Do you see what I'm working with here? I am not one to start talking about looks and how you and how easy it would be to break us in half. Like that's just not me. Um, but he's really smart, man. Sal is really smart. Uh, yeah, he's a really smart guy. And his way of approaching stuff is very similar to mine, to where we don't really mess around with double ups. We both kind of choose the GPPs that we'd like, and we play those. For real. Why? Yeah, like that's kind of where it's at. Like I don't understand that at all. Even if, like, say if I'm new and I'm watching a stream and I've never even heard of DFS before, and then I watch a stream because I see it in Osmo's stuff all the time. People ask for lineups and stuff, where they're asking their opinion on lineups, and what's stopping me from taking that lineup and playing it in another contest? And then if it sucks, I'm just like, oh my god, that dude didn't know what he was talking about. Then if it wins, oh my god, why didn't everybody play it? Like it's like poker. You don't tell people the two cards you have. You know, that's kind of how I've always looked at it. Like you don't show your hand. That's just kind of how it is. Like I could, and maybe that's hypocritical because I give out my projections, but you don't know my lines. I give a core of 3 guys that I like that project well. Sometimes I don't go heavy on that core. That's just a core that I think would score well, and so that's kind of where I am in terms of projections. Because even if you give projections out, you don't exactly play the same lines that I do. So especially because I'm always making some idiotic play to get different here and there, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, well, cool, man. Guys, we were live for 63 minutes today. Thank you guys very much. I don't have a Cash App. Maybe I need to get that, but I use PayPal more just because it's accepted in more places, and I've had it for a while. But yeah, for the 3, dude. If I'm playing the 3, if you're playing the 333 and you're fading Kyle Busch, man, you got more money than me because I don't think I could burn $300 playing one lineup that doesn't have Kyle Busch in it. Yeah, PayPal. I don't have a Cash App. I just have a PayPal. So Kevin, I appreciate asking that. If you want to donate when you get a PayPal, you can. But yeah, sorry, I don't have a Cash App. I guess I need to get one of those. I just haven't really seen the need to. Or Venmo. I don't have a Venmo either, just because I don't use those. Set up for next two. Yeah. I'll look into that. All right, well, cool guys. Thank you guys for watching. Kind of what I said there. Join my Patreon if you want. Kind of late in the month now if you want to do it, so you can donate $1 or $2 through PayPal, or maybe next week, maybe even tomorrow. I put the projections up for under the $3 tier or $1 tier. We'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, thank you next time, and thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.